This is one of over 500 assisted PNF stretching demonstrations that can be found as part of my 80 Days to Your Dream Body course, which is available to my channel members. If you'd like to see all of them, then consider becoming a member. But for right now, let's get our stretch on. Once we've worked a little bit deeper at the hip and the knee, now we're going to start to get a little bit more superficial. So now we're going to actually stabilize at the pelvis. We want to take a nice firm grasp and we're going to apply a downward pressure at the sacrum. By applying a downward pressure at the sacrum, it's going to keep their hip in extension. When we don't have the sacrum stabilized, what happens is when we go into knee flexion, their hip is going to go into hip flexion and it's going to get a little bit more deep. So if we want to make it more superficial, we just lock that sacrum down, and then we could get a lot more superficial because now we're getting both attachments. We are getting the hip and the knee. So now we're targeting the hip flexors and the knee extensors simultaneously. So they're going to inhale, push, and then exhale, relax. The other option, if you want to use your forearm as well, this could be a little bit more comfortable. You're not going to have to use as much muscle. You could use a little bit more leverage. We're going to inhale, push, and then exhale, relax. And one more time, they're going to inhale, push, and exhale, relax. If we want to get even more superficial, what we're going to do right now is we're going to lift that knee up off the ground. We want to take the hand, want to go ahead, and we're going to place our hand right over the quadriceps tendon. The dorsal surface of the foot, we want to place it onto our trapezius. And then what we want to do with our stabilizing hand is we're going to apply that downward pressure at the sacrum. So now what we could do is while applying that downward pressure, we're going to traction at the hip, then we're going to go into hip extension, instruct the patient to inhale, drive the knee down to the floor. And then they're going to exhale, relax. We're going to take them deeper into hip extension. Now, while keeping the hip in extension, we're going to go into knee flexion. As we get a little bit closer, we can put that forearm over there. Now we're going to instruct the patient to inhale, kick, exhale, relax. And now we're going to do a combination. So now I'm going to instruct the patient to inhale and simultaneously bring your knee down to the floor and give me a kick. And then they're going to exhale and relax, and we're going to take them simultaneously into hip extension and knee flexion. And now we're getting a lot more superficial. So now we're getting a lot more of that rectus femoris. When we were focusing just on the hip, we were getting a little bit more of the psoas major. When we do both the hip flexors and knee extensors, we get a little bit more superficial and we start getting a little bit more into the rectus femoris. Once we've done all of that, we could go ahead and have the patient turn onto their back. And then we would just apply a little bit more traction. And that was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.